Hello everyone. I'm gonna get straight to business. This video is about ranking all the Victoria 2 pops based on their vibes and their abilities. So let's get this started with the Aristocrat.
Money on my motherfucking mind. Got 5 haircuts at the same time. White gold pants, jet ski, made a rhyme. Foie gras bust of Albert Einstein.
So aristocrats are kind of a useless pop. Some people might say that they have a lot of money and they consume goods. Anybody can do that, right? That's nothing special. They have one thing in their favor though, which is that they are an honest pop. Here's what I mean. There's a lot of deceptive pops in Victoria too, where the game pretends that they're more useful than they are. With aristocrats though, they don't really have this. The aristocrat is there to laze around and waste their money on fancy toys. Honestly, you can't even get mad at them. They are there in 1836 doing the exact same thing as they do in 1936. This is a useless pop that somehow survives. That's a power move, and for that, I gotta give him C tier. Okay, let's move on to the capitalist.
Gaan er wel uitgooien om de
I
wedstrijd.
fancy double 12 or double 8. Who's in charge? Me or the devil? I think I'm in charge. Fuck, can't double 8 and shake his hand. Just like that. Come on, you cunt. Fucking cunt.
There's so much to say about the capitalists. I'm just going to talk about the vibes of the capitalists and how they are off. Okay? These are bad businessmen. The Vicky 2 capitalists will look at a country that doesn't have enough chairs for the population and then think, these people need more
nitroglycerin.
It's completely wild. Even if you love real life capitalism, you shouldn't be a fan of how capitalists are represented in Vicky 2. Just load up the game, put yourself into a planned economy, and see how the capitalists feel about being in a communist dictatorship. They're perfectly happy. This is like fake politics. This is fake society. It doesn't matter even if your capitalists get mad at you, because what are they going to do? Are they going to rebel with like a single brigade? Like, who's scared of that? These guys are like the little weak doge compared to the big strong doge that's like the real life capitalists. I'm giving them a big giant D for disappointment. We're going to move on to the clergy. Clergymen are critical for research and technology in this game. Vicky 2 is not like other Paradox games. There's not a lot of like innate national bonuses, and that's just the way we like it. Increasing your research point and making sure your literacy goes up is a very important thing, and the clergymen are the only ones that can do it. So they're of course useful. They're so useful that they're a little bit boring. You'll always want at least 2% clergymen for the maximum research. And if you're low literacy, you want like 4% clergy, so you get the max education bonus. It's all kind of laid out for you. There's no spice to it. The only kind of fun thing about the clergy is that once you're at 100% literacy, you can just shut down your schools because child education isn't real in Victoria 2. Other than that, though, just a bit too boring for anything higher than B tier. But it's a good pop. We're going to continue doing middle class pops. Next one will be the Bureaucrat.
He's a bureaucrat, Morty. I don't respect him.
So hear me out. Bureaucrats are a little bit underrated. They do a lot of minor indirect things, which makes them seem boring. But if you look at them as a whole, I think they're pretty charming. They're a part of one of the game's best understated mechanics, which is the way that social reforms cause your bureaucracy to bloat up over the course of a game. So by the 1930s, you'll have like these hives of bureaucracy in state capitals. I love it. It's just such a good example of indirect storytelling. Mechanics aside, I think the bureaucrats have a really good look to them. It's just timeless and classic. In 1936, you would have to be insane to be dressed like this, or like this, but the bureaucrat has a look that survives the age. This might be very controversial, but to me, the bureaucrat is a sleeper hit of Victoria 2, and I'm putting them in A tier. Next one up is a pop that I hate, the officer. Officers are just lame. They're really obviously just the source of leadership, which is mana. Everyone hates mana. Other than that, you don't care about them. They don't matter. While the generals are pretty good, it's fun to follow them around during the game. It's fun to roll for god generals or for complete failures. The officer pops have nothing special, and they're missing a lot of the real life flavor. How many officers' coups were there in this time period? How many officer coups can actually happen in Victoria 2? That's right. The drip is whack. It's a century out of date. I don't even know why it's in the game. They are definitely D tier. And I'm putting them ahead of the capitalists because of one thing I noticed while making this video. If you zoom into their face, it's like a cool skeleton head. Now let's do the Artisan. Artisans are a really bad vibe. Victoria 2 is a game about industrialization, and artisans are the type of people that get left behind in industrialization. They don't get the bonuses from all the technology you do in the game, so they end up really inefficient and struggling to make any money. On top of that, they're just the most fragile of all the Victoria 2 pops. So if you turn your terrace up, you'll get this big red blob that tells you about all the artisans in your country that are now starving. Over the course of the game, you'll usually end up with less artisans than you have at the start of the game. It's just like a really bad scene. It's a bad career path. They get obsoleted, and so they can't go any higher than C tier.
We worked so hard to build a little house together.
Now we'll finish off the middle class pops with the Clerk. The Clerk is a bald fraud. B tier. I don't have enough words for the Craftsman. The Craftsman is the pumping heart of Victoria 2. You absolutely need them. So you can go an entire 100 years and not have a single clerk, but to play 100 years and not have a single craftsman, that's like a challenge run. And it doesn't even matter if you're playing strictly roleplay, or if you're playing strictly like competitive multiplayer, or if you're just trying to do something weird. The Craftsman is essential in almost every strategy. These are the best pop in the game. You know they gotta be S tier. There's absolutely no question about it. In terms of drip, we're dealing with a situation here that is so negative that it's gone back to positive. This sort of burlap Victorian naked apron situation is so iconic. It's representative of the extreme confidence of a pop that deserves their position at the top of the tier list. The next pop probably doesn't deserve their position. It's the slave.
Hey! Stop it! Stop it! Okay. All right.
Now everybody knows that slavery is wrong, but did you also know it loses you money? Think about it. Slaves do this weird thing in the economy, and all you need to know is that they're less efficient than the same amount of farmers and laborers. You can't tax them, and you can't turn them into soldiers or craftsmen, and you can't do anything useful with them, so you want to get rid of them. Tempering this all is how your pops don't really care if you ban slavery. In a bunch of countries, you can do it as soon as the game starts. You get a better economy for nothing. And there's no downsides. With so little game involvement to speak of, slaves have to go D tier. Free my people. The next pop is like slavery with extra steps, the farmer.
รู้กินเหล้าเลิกเหล้าทำงานเก็บเงินทำงานกินเหล้าได้เรียนมีกินเหล้ากินเหล้า
Farmers are just another one of those depressing pops that ends the game in a worse place than they started. This comes about because of the game mechanics mimicking real life. Farmers start out as valued and vital members of society, and they end the game as a source of craftsmen for your stinking industrial slums.
While they may be chronically unemployed, farmers are good at one thing, and it's growing food. Try playing a country that's very small, or a country with very limited resources. As your population starves, you might find yourself wishing you had more farmers. They're unsung heroes, trodden over, and ignored. And honestly, who wants to be a part of that crowd? C tier. The next pop chose a much better life path. It's the laborer.
Check out the new safety goggles, eh? Yep, the real Christian Dior's. And these here are the real Neil Diamonds. Huh? Yeah.
So where farmers have been cursed with the wrong RGOs, laborers have made the superior life choices, such as being born in provinces with good RGOs. All these resources are valuable industrial goods that will stay valuable throughout the entire game, meaning that laborers, as a class, are one of the most loaded in Victoria 2. This is obviously not like real life. It's an artifact of Victoria 2's economy working the way it does. But let's not get too cynical. After all, it's one of the few feel-good stories in the game. The honest, hard-working laborer gets his just reward. Who doesn't love that? A tier.
I owe my soul to the company store.
Last up, the soldier.
No one's allowed inside. Oh, I'm sorry. It's the rules. It's the rules. No entry. Press. Oh, okay.
Soldiers are extremely important in Victoria 2. You can play this game peacefully, but the Victoria 2 AIs are cruel and vindictive entities. Your soldier pops are a key to an effective defense against these enemy countries. Specialist units, like artillery or cavalry, can only be recruited from soldier pops. These units are the things that actually make your army strong. Without them, an army is just an organized pile of flesh. Besides the obvious military function, there's also this disloyalty mechanic that's pretty interesting. Soldier pops can join a rebel group, leading to your brigades rebelling in the middle of a revolution. There's lots of real-life parallels here. Although in practice, what usually happens is that one brigade rebels and the other 19 slaughter them. But at least they tried, and at least the developers tried. The fact that your individual brigades are linked to specific soldier pops creates an intimate connection between your population and your army. These kinds of connections between the player and the country is one of the reasons why Victoria 2 is such an immersive feeling game. The soldiers have the best example of this, which is why I'll ignore the flawed presentation, and I'll put them in A tier. Okay, that's it. That's every pop of Victoria 2 rated and explained. If you disagree with me, make sure to let me know, because I am happy to argue with you people in the comments. But if you enjoyed the video, if you think I'm completely correct, also let me know in the comments, and leave a like and subscribe to the channel. So I realize this is a new type of video for the channel, it has my voice in it. If you have any thoughts or criticisms about the video, just leave a message and I'll try to fix it. Otherwise, this was pretty fun. I'm going to make more Victoria 2 videos soon, and if Victoria 3 ever comes out, you can expect some videos about that as well. But otherwise, that's it for now. Bye-bye.